How often do prospects ghost you, right? Like, be real. How often are your prospects ghosting you? Like, you have a conversation with them, they say call you back, they say they really like you, right? The conversation felt good, but then when you call them back, it's crickets. When you try to get an appointment, it's crickets. Like, they just disappear. Or they give you the objection like, hey, we want to think about it. 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 Why do we get those objections? Why do we get those people that keep pushing us away when we can help them? They reached out to us. They came to our open house. They raised their hand. They're the ones with the online leads. Here's the truth. I want to share with you the biggest challenge that agents have in today's market. The biggest challenge that agents have is booking appointments. Why are people not reaching out to you, but they're still doing business with the top agents in the marketplace? And here's the thing. The top agents in the marketplace know how to go deep, right? If you think about it, if you want to build a big business, you go deep. If you think about it, if you want a tree to be able to withstand a storm, it goes deep with its roots. If we stay surface level when the wind blows, guess what? Everything breaks. Unfortunately, it's not your fault, but it is your problem, right? It's not your fault that the industry leaders, the gurus, the stage heads, even the people that run these incredibly large companies have never actually been in a listing or a buyer's consultation. They've actually never had conversations with Mr. and Mrs. Jones. So they don't understand from a deep level, deep roots, what those conversations are like. So they just tell you like, build culture, go buy more leads, get a different lead source, create your content, make your videos, put your brand out there. And that's all important, right? That's all crucial. That's all necessary for your success. The problem with those statements though, is that they don't have an understanding. I've been in hundreds of presentations, thousands of phone calls. I know that when you guys are calling people, unfortunately, we're saying the same things. So I'm going to teach you today, how do we take a surface level question, like a really basic, generic question. I'm going to teach you how to probe and clarify so you can get the prospect to open up. If that sounds like something you would love, because if we don't have a gap, right? If we don't have a gap between where they're at and where they want to be, right? Their current state and their future state, right? If there's no gap between their current state and their future state, then there's no reason for them to talk to you. And if you can't help them create that gap, they're not going to work with you, because oftentimes we think we have one problem, but when a skilled person asks us questions, we realize we have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 more problems that we didn't even think about. And what we're going to do today is we're going to teach you how to think about that. So our $1 billion master document here. So this hasn't even been released to the world. So you guys are some of the first people to see it. Now, I'm going to show you how to build the gap. Now, inside of the trust phase, right, there's 3 parts in the trust phase. The first part is when we open, we focus on who? The prospect. The second part is we get what's called an overarching goal, which we'll talk about in a different presentation. And then the third part is what we're going to talk about now, is the gap. We're going to start to build the emotional door. We're going to open that up. All right. So here's a couple of things that I want you guys to remember. One, I want you to remember to use the word feel versus think. Okay. Now, there will be times where you want them to think about certain things so that you can then take them down. It's called the emotional logic. But right now, I want you to think about the word feel, right? I know, confusing. I want you to think about what happens when you use the word feel. What happens is we start to actually put ourselves in that situation. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, how does this home feel for you? Mr. and Mrs. Seller, how would it feel if your home didn't get an offer because you didn't have the right agent to represent you? Mr. and Mr. Buyer, how would it feel if your agent didn't have the processes to find the homes that are not on them and you missed out on opportunity to find your dream home, the home that you want at the price that you want in the turn? How would that feel if you knew there was other opportunities that your agent just wasn't able to find? How does it feel when you walk through the front door, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer? Hey kids, how do you feel in the bedroom? Oh my God, I love it. How does it feel when you sit down on the couch? How does it feel standing behind the stove? How does it feel in the kitchen when you're when you're in the kitchen cleaning up after dinner? Does it feel proper? Does the backyard feel right? We want to use the word feel, and then your prospects will start to align with the word feel too. So let's go back to this, okay? So I want to show you guys some notes that I took here for you, and I wanted to share this because this is really important. All right, this is super important. And what I want you to realize is, actually, I got too many things. I got like 4 video screens open. My guy's on Zoom. So one of my video editors is on Zoom. I'm on Zoom, and I'm in another platform called Riverside Recording. So I opened up the Zoom video, but I forgot I was already sharing. The average agent, right? The everyday average agent, right? You see it right here. Before we talk about our strategy versus the average search and show everyday agent strategy, I wanted to learn a little bit more about like kind of is what you're looking at. Okay, I want you guys to listen to the tone. 2 big cups of coffee, 45 minutes of nonstop recording. I'm on fuego right now. I always do my shorts and then I log, so let me just reground myself. Okay. So before we talk about our strategy versus the average search and show agent strategy, I wanted to learn a little bit more about kind of like what it is you guys are looking for. Super surface level, very easy to answer. Now, they're going to say something like, we're looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom home with like a 10,000 square foot lot, right? They're going to be very logical, right? Those are facts, right? Those are facts. These are what we're looking for. Okay. And, how is that different than what you're currently living in? So how is this home different, right? The 4-bedroom, the 3-bath, the 10,000 square foot lot, in a cul-de-sac, updated with an open kitchen and concept, right? How is that different than what you currently have? Do you notice how I repeated back to them what they said, but I did it in a really like chill conversational way? This is what we teach right? Through our virtual platforms or through like our more advanced group training programs, right? It's super calm, super chill. I'm not like, okay, so you said you wanted a 3-bed, 2-bath house, and right? Like that's super salesy, and it's super like played out, and everybody does it. So like, I guess like how's a 4-bed, 3-bath, right? Like 2-car garage on a private street, like in a cul-de-sac, maybe nice sized backyard for you to barbecue. And like, how's that different from the home you're currently living in? And they're gonna be like, oh, right. You guys notice the facial expression, everything changes. And they're gonna say something like blah, 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 blah. But maybe they say, well, we're currently living in a 2-bed, 2-bath house. Right? So they're going to stay logical, right? Well, that doesn't help us because we're still fact and fact, right? They answered with the fact and they gave you another fact. Well, that doesn't help you, does it? No, because they tell that to everybody. Oh, we're looking for a 4-bed, 3-bath house. Oh, where do you currently live? I live in a 2-bed, 2-bath. Okay. And then the next agents ask is, oh, do you own the property? Because you guys are thinking about sales. You're being salesy. You're not thinking about an advisor, right? So the next question you're going to ask is, how is that different than what you're currently living in? And they're going to say, oh, well, our current home's a 2-bed, 2-bath house. Okay. And like, why are we looking for the 4-bed? Right now, we're going to go to the probing and clarifying questions, right? Like, tell me more about like, what would a 4-bed, 2-bath on a private street in the right school district? Like, what would that, like, how would that be different? Like your lifestyle, how would that differ from like what you guys have now? Oh, well, our 2-bed condo is super small. There's no room for the kids and the dog to run around. My wife's currently pregnant. She's doing about 4 months. Oh, okay. And like, we want more space. So, I mean, it's like, are you guys looking to move before she has the baby or after she has the baby? Well, we'd prefer to do it before, but we're not in a rush. Oh yeah, most of our people that we work with aren't in a rush, right? Diffuse, right? We got to diffuse them. And most people we work with aren't in a big rush, but ideally, if you could find something you guys loved, it would be prior. Yes. Okay. We're not done yet though, right? We're not done yet. So what happens, what happens if like we don't get the bigger home, right? So now we're going to go back up. Okay. We're going to go back up. Right. So like what happens? Like, I guess like actually, how long have you guys been wanting to get this 4-bed bigger house for so that, you don't have to move? Do you have a newborn? Like that sounds intense. Like, that sounds like a little stressful. Oh, we've been thinking about it for about 6-7 months now. Actually, we thought about it last year, but we didn't have a reason. right? But now that she's pregnant, like we've been thinking about it since the day we found out. I'm like, honey, oh wow, so you guys have been thinking about it for like 7 or 8 months now? Yeah, something like that. What are you doing now, right? What are you doing now to find the right sellers who you have the home you'd want to buy? And they're not gonna understand, but in their brain, they're gonna be like, wait, that's a different question. Because we're talking about the right sellers, not the right houses. You see, like these little key variations, these 2mm twists throughout your presentation makes you stand out compared to the everyday average agent. Because the everyday average agent's gonna be like, so how are you looking for homes? Tell me, like, what have you guys been doing now to find the right sellers who have the home you buy? Sorting question. Are you guys like just looking online or just going to open houses? And they're like, well, no, we're just kind of looking online and then we go to the open houses. And we have a couple of agents sending us some listings, but like, you know, they're not really super great. Do you see how we're going deeper? Do you see how we're going deeper on everything we do? Now, sometimes the buyer, right? Sometimes the buyer isn't going to give you some stuff. Oh, we really like our home. We're not in a rush. Like everything's great. So we're going to use this question right here. Yeah, a lot of people we work with, right, John, like a lot of people we work with are like, they're in love with their home. They're not in a rush to move, right? I guess, is there anything about your current home you would change? I guess if you could, right? Super chill, super casual, conversational, curious, but not like overly curious tone, right? Body language is super mellow and not all up in their face. Well, I mean, you know, I guess hypothetically, right? I guess we would change the location. What do you mean by that? Like, why would you change the location? Well, we're currently living here, but we'd like to be here for X, Y, and Z reasons. And why is it important to be living here? Like, why is it important for you guys to be in this area? If we don't have the better questions, if we don't know how to probe, clarify, and utilize our tonality, then we're not going to be able to take the prospect from where they're at, the current state, to the future state and create that gap and create the pain. So it's really, really, really important that you learn these skills because the market's going to get harder. And the person that the prospect talks to about their problems, their pain, their gap is the person that the prospect feels comfortable with. When there's trust in the relationship, right? When there's trust in the relationship, the prospect wants to move forward with that person. If they like a lot of agents. Most agents I talk to are friendly and they're nice. So the difference between the top agent and like your average everyday agent who's struggling is the average everyday agent keeps you in the logic part of the brain. The top agents take you from a logical answer, both clarify, use the right tonality, use the right questions to bring you into that emotional state. If you guys want to join me inside of the Real Estate Sales Dojo on Facebook, you can ask questions, you can ask the community questions. Our top clients are there, right? Our brand new clients are there. They'll tell you what they're learning. And if you want more information, right, like you're going to have to DM me on either Instagram or you can follow, like you can DM me on Messenger and Facebook, right? Or if you just put like sales below, our team will send you some more information about next steps. But if you want to learn like what our group training or even just like our foundations course online, which has all of this in it currently, and things are going to change, but currently we have all of these modules, the listing, the buyer presentation, right? All of these different online open houses. How do you talk to expireds? How do you circle dial your listings, right? How do you do the inbound and outbound follow-up calls? How do you talk to your sphere? How do you create trust in a super difficult marketplace? How do you overcome objections, right? Like probably need to know how to overcome objections, how to ask for commissions in 2024, right? I teach you all of that, right? Using human psychology, human behavior. So if you want more information, join us inside the Real Estate Sales Dojo. It's a free group. We just started building it, so we're up to our 400 or 500 members now, which is pretty cool because we just started there. So that's pretty awesome. Go join us there. Follow me on Instagram, Coach Vikram Diol. Just send me a DM if you want to know more about our advanced courses, but put a comment below, right? What did you learn from this module? What did you learn from this training? Because if we don't take action now, we only remember 5% of what we hear. So write down 1, 2, or 3 things that you want to implement in your business and put them in the comments so other people can see kind of like, oh, that was a good take. Oh, I forgot about that one. And I'll see you on the next video. Appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share this if you got value. I'm sure you did. So like, subscribe, and share this, and hit the notification bell up top, right? So that when I post another video, you're the first person to see it. This market's only getting harder, commissions are only getting smaller, and the consumer is only getting smarter. Let's see you on the next one.